So we got it, man. It's officially been official. We have the Ryan versus Tank fight. Man, just like an hour and a half ago, the second press conference ended. They had two press conferences, not really a world tour, but kind of a country tour. First on Wednesday, they went to New York City to have a press conference, and then today, on Thursday, they went out to LA to have a press conference. Happy to see this because you got to market this fight. This is one of those boxing fights that pour over, into... This is more than boxing. This is event. This isn't just a fight. This is an event for all of sports. So, promote this fight. A bunch of media were there both days. I think a little more media looked to be there today in LA, which kind of makes sense. It was packed with all different media. There were some celebrities there. It looked awesome, and I'm just happy to see the guys out here promoting this fight because this one's going to be good. This one is going to be really, really good, and heck, man, I'm really excited for this one. We're still, I think they're saying 44 days away, so a month and a half away from the fight. April 22nd, it's going down in Vegas. We'll talk more in detail about the fight, what each fighter can do, my predictions as we get closer to the date. But this first kind of entry into the Tank versus Ryan, a portion of a podcast I'm going to have, we're just going to go over the press conference and some notable things that happened these past 2 days. First, they started off really, complimenting each other, then kind of turned up the heat with the face-off yesterday, and then today they were really going back and forth with each other in LA. So it's good to see that. But yeah, I'll just get into it, a recap, talk about the press conference. I know everyone likes to declare a press conference, who's getting into whose head. So we'll maybe talk a little bit about who won the press conference, the mental war. But let's just get right into it. All right, so let's first talk about Wednesday's press conference in New York City. And if you were waiting on that live stream like I was, man, were we waiting for a long time. Tank ended up showing up, I think it was an hour, 50 minutes late, like officially. So almost 2 hours late to the press conference. They actually started without him. It's kind of an awkward picture. They had Ryan, Oscar De La Hoya, Joe Goosen. Joe Goosen is Ryan's trainer, and then Bernard Hopkins on one side of the table. To the left of Brian Custer, our right, we were looking at the right of Brian Custer, and then Tank's table, which was going to have, Leonard Ellerbe, Calvin Ford, Tank, and then I think his name was Tom Brown, who works with GTD, just completely empty because Tank hadn't shown up. So it was a little bit awkward there, but Tank eventually shows up, and I think they were talking about they're going to have them do the face-off like they did in LA to start, and then they're just going to go to the table, talk, and answer questions, but Tank obviously wasn't there to show. But while they're doing that, the two interviewers, I think it was the dudes from Morning Combat on Showtime, did an excellent job of just stalling. I think the biggest news that came out of that was what was it? Oh, excuse me, I forgot. Ryan Garcia, he was doing an interview with those guys from Morning Combat, and he was talking about the stipulations for the fight, right? And obviously we know this is being fought at a catch weight of 136. Tank usually fights at 135. Did move up to 140 to fight Mario Barrios. What was that? I think the summer of 2021, he fought Barrios, knocked Barrios out, and then, came back down to 135. But Ryan was fighting at 135, and then his past, I believe, 2 fights, he's been at 140. Was going to move to 140, and Tank always said not fighting Ryan at 140, so that's where this catch weight of 136 came in. But what was interesting was Ryan talked about people are calling it dehydration, or it's a rehydration clause. Either way, the morning of the fight, because, after the weigh-in on Friday, fighters love to, start bulking up again. They drain themselves to make weight, and then they start back eating, trying to regain that weight as much as they can to be as strong as possible for the fight. But the next morning, there's a clause that says you can only you can only gain 10 pounds. So you can only be 146 the morning of the fight, which made a lot of rounds. As I'm not sure, I think a lot of people didn't see that coming. Ryan Garcia pinned it as, he's trying to drain me so I'm not as strong. Basically saying Tank, doesn't want to fight me at my strongest. So what I did find, I think it was Dan Raphael on Twitter, said that he heard that both Tank and Ryan had this clause. Both can only be up to 146 on the night of the fight. So I kind of find it interesting that, this is for both fighters. This isn't just one side of the coin, allegedly that, one guy can only go up to 146 and the other can go way beyond that if he chooses. So, that's something interesting. I'm sure if Ryan does lose this fight, he'll, point to that. I kind of looked at it as he was laying the groundwork, in case it does happen. He might not even say it, but then you have fans. Fans have been going on crazy on Twitter, like, oh, Tank doesn't think he'll win straight up and everything. So, you'll see this on Twitter and from people all over. If Tank ends up winning this fight, he was trying to drain Ryan. He didn't want to fight him straight up. So I thought that was interesting. That was kind of some of the biggest, I'd say, quote-unquote technical news from it. What I found really interesting, and a lot of people have talked about this, the height. Obviously, it's reported Ryan, I believe, has 4 to 4.5 inches of height advantage on Tank, 2.5 inches on the reach, which isn't significant. It's something, but it's not a complete game changer. Right, but when they got face to face, and granted on Wednesday, kind of looked, and I know Tank was wearing a hat, but I was like, is he really 4 inches taller? It did not look that way. I remember when Tank and Mario Barrios faced off, and it looks like Barrios was a foot taller than Tank. It looks like Ryan might be shorter than Barrios. Obviously, reporting numbers. Who really knows? Really interesting. But that's what my main takeaway was. Just height-wise, it didn't look like Ryan was all that much taller than Tank. So I know a lot of people have been talking about the height is going to play a major factor. And, Tank's fought taller guys all his career. In fact, he's even said, like, last fight against Hector Garcia, he said, I don't like fighting shorter guys. He broke his hand against Isaac Cruz and said, it was because I was punching down. I don't do that. Again, he doesn't fight shorter fighters. He says he doesn't like to. So, I never thought the height was going to matter too much in this fight. And now I really don't, because I think it's not like they're even, but it's not as dramatic as everyone was making it to be. And then my second was takeaway from Wednesday in New York City was I thought Ryan in the face-off looked a little nervous. If you saw the face-off, it went on for about 3 minutes with Tank just jawing at Ryan. They're going back and forth, and then Ryan was kind of like, all right, let's take this photo. And Tank wasn't having it. Tank was letting him hear it. I think if I was lip reading correctly, he was saying, I'm going to walk you down, I'm going to knock you out, what you kind of were expecting. The walk you down is interesting because, is that his game plan? Is that what he's going to do in this fight? Try and walk down Ryan. I'm sure he's going to try and get on the inside. If he does get in the inside, potentially has a chance of landing that uppercut we know Tank to do. So I think that was interesting. But overall, I thought Ryan handled himself really well. I know I'm a Tank fan, but we got to remember this is Ryan's first pay-per-view, right? Um, Tank's 4 years older. Ryan's, 24, first pay-per-view. While he's been in the spotlight, he's never been in this spotlight. This is a whole nother league, right? We talked about this in my Tim Tszyu versus Tony Harrison preview. It's for Tim Tszyu, he was going from fighting, one level of guys to skipping a whole nother level of fighters to fight the best, right? And I think that's kind of what Ryan Garcia is doing. He's been fighting one type of tier of fighters his entire career, and he's skipping that intermediate between him and the best. And I know everyone's marketing this fight as the two best lightweights in the division. That's not necessarily the case, as I don't think Ryan and Tank are 1-2. You got to respect Devin Haney, who's undisputed. Lomachenko's shown he's been a great fighter. Shakur is now in the division. Granted, I wouldn't put him 1-2 yet. He hasn't even fought at 135. I'd definitely have Tank up there, but I wouldn't have Ryan. I'd have Ryan 3, 4, 5 maybe, depending on what I see from different lightweights. I like Frank Martin, from a couple months ago. I really liked his performance. But either way, it's a huge fight that's going to garner so much attention. I don't know if another fight this year or next year or the year after that will garner the amount of attention that Tank and Ryan will. So is Ryan ready for that? Everywhere he goes for the next month, whether it be Ryan's own fans yelling, knock Tank out, or Tank's fans yelling, you're going to get knocked out, right? Everywhere he goes, he's going to hear about something. I'm sure he has, for the most part, when you're going to make the fight with Tank, but now it's different. Now it's pressure, right? And I think Gervonta is feeling that pressure too, right? But he's been here. He's fought on Mayweather undercards. He's, headlined his own pay-per-view. He's been a star for a while now. So I think the pressure per se and just the moment, how big the moment is, for Ryan Garcia, it's bigger. Tank's been here, kind of done it. Granted, not to this level. And who knows if there'll be another level in either of their careers that'll match this. But I think it's great, and I think Tank might have won the Wednesday one. I know a lot of people are talking about, he showed up 2 hours late for gamesmanship, kind of getting into his head. I don't think it was that. I think, people can spin it, and Tank might go ahead and take credit, like, yeah, I was doing that to get in his head. I don't think so. I think Tank was probably just crazy late and probably overslept or something. Overslept, a noon press conference, who knows. But I just think, I don't think there's too much to read into that. I do think that angered Ryan Garcia. He was talking about, look at his character, doesn't even show up, he's not mature. And I got to give Ryan the most, credit out there. He showed up on time, he's been out promoting this fight as much as he can. He's on First Take. It seems like he's on everything promoting this fight. So all the credit goes to him for that. But maybe it did get into Ryan's head. Maybe Ryan was like, I'm angry at this. I'm not sure necessarily, but I don't think it was done intentionally. So that really was my New York City takeaway. It wasn't too much. They were respectful for one another. At the tables, the questions, both said they're great fighters, and I'm glad that both of them are acknowledging, hey, yeah, this is going to be the toughest fight of their careers up to this point. Now transitioning over today, which is Thursday, the press conference in Los Angeles. This one started on time, and it got off to some fireworks, some chippiness really early. As soon as the face-off, kind of grappling with each other, pretending put their fist up where they're going to hit each other, talking to each other, talking some trash. This one was like, all right, cool, and now we're here. I'm trying to mess you up. I'm also going to promote this fight. I thought it was really good today in LA. Ryan, that's the thing, Ryan, seems like he's just calm, cool, and collected. Like, as much as I said this moment, is much bigger for him, I think he's really maintained a nice presence, and I think that's a credit to his cornerman, Joe Goosen, who's been in great fights as a trainer. So he's been through all these. Obviously now this is a new age with the social media, with the hype and everything. This fight probably is different as the hype was for some other fights. But I think he has Ryan calm. And I think that's big. Ryan wasn't lashing out or anything. He let Tank talk. It was mature. So I got to give him credit for that. I thought he was going to be, do too much. I thought he was going to do too much these two press conferences. Wouldn't let Tank talk, try and sell this fight, try and knock down Tank verbally as much as he could. But he didn't. He landed some jokes. About Tank wearing a purse. What else did he say? I think his purse one was the biggest, verbal shot he threw. And then Tank hit him with, "You're wearing heels," and then he said, "You were wearing a purse yesterday." Two things you probably didn't think you would ever hear at a boxing press conference, but either way, they're going back and forth. And then Tank today, yesterday, Wednesday, he was kind of subdued, quiet. Today, he was talking. Ryan got up on stage and he was talking, I'm going to hit him with the left hook. And Tank's like, "What else?" He continued to repeat, "What else?" He was like, "Ryan, what are you going to hit me? What else do you have?" He was calling Ryan an incomplete fighter, tell him he doesn't have anything other than the left hook. Ryan was insistent. That's all he needs, the left hook. Tank was listing off, no footwork, no IQ. Call him not a complete fighter. So Tank was really laying into Ryan today. He even got up when Ryan was at the podium, put left hand at his jaw, this is where I'm gonna hit you. So I thought that was, kind of, someone might have told Tank last night, "Hey, yeah, you got to promote this fight a little bit more. You can't be showing up 2 hours late. You got to promote this." So it was interesting because we know Tank is kind of a quieter dude, it seems. Obviously, Rolly got him into talking a little bit of trash when they fought, but kind of quieter, subdued on Wednesday, but he kind of turned it up on Thursday, which was fun to see. But as I quote-unquote crowned Tank the winner of the press conference on, what was that, Wednesday? I think Ryan won on Thursday. Today. I think him just being, calm, cool, excuse me, calm and cool, collected, I think that won over. Obviously, I love the trash talk. I love the banner. I love everything about it. Sell this fight as much as you can. Do whatever you got to do. I love it. But I think him being calm really won the press conference today. And I don't know. Could have gone either way. I think it was just I think today was the better day for sound bites. You're going to see more of this on your Bleacher Reports, House of Highlights, ESPN, FS1, everything. You're going to see today, Thursdays, clips more than you were going to see Wednesday's clips, which is good. You get these clips out, share them, post them, everything. Sell this fight. I'm sure videos are popping up on YouTube as I'm recording this. They went off to the side. We're talking to the media. So we'll see more what they have to say, what they're going to ask. And this kind of going back to whatchamacallit. Wednesday, when he went to the side, they asked him about Tank. They asked Tank, "What you see in the first face-off?" And Tank even acknowledged, "Hey, he's not as tall as I thought." He kind of was like, "Whew, that's good for me." But even Tank was like, that's what he was saying. Brought that over in Thursday's press conference. He's like, "You're not as tall as I thought." That's where the heels came into the factor. He's like, "You're wearing heels, man. You're not as tall as I thought." So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun, right? Crazy. We got a month and a half away from this fight, and I think it's going to be absolutely incredible for the sport of boxing. Going down at T-Mobile Arena in Vegas, I'm going to this fight. I will be attending this fight. Tickets were purchased today. Me and one of my boys will be attending this fight. Man, I can't wait. Because this isn't just a fight, this is an event. You know, both Tank's trainer Calvin Ford and Ryan's management, De La Hoya and Hopkins, everyone's been saying this is the fight that's going to get fighters to start fighting again. And I think that's really true, as we're going to start seeing these big fights come to fruition, and I think it's going to be amazing for the sport of boxing. We're going to get more events, and we're going to get boxing back, to the level it should be. Right? So, I can't wait. I think it's going to be incredible. These two press conferences, hey man, I was glued to my phone, I had it on my TV today. I was glued to what they're going to say to each other. I'm going to be watching, their interviews with the media, rewatching their face-offs, seeing the All Access that comes out the 1st of April, what they're really saying to each other. And then I can't just wait, just the little stuff, like the social media jabs they're going to be throwing between now and the fight week. Man, it's going to be awesome. This is what you want. And the crazy thing is, it's not like, we're going to be starving until that fight. No, we got Plant versus Benavidez in 2 weeks. That I can't wait to talk about that fight. I got a 50-50 fight for that one. I like both guys. But back to this fight real quick. Man, I can't wait for this. And the press conferences were done well. I'd have liked Tank to be a little more on time. But overall, man, it was really done well, and they got me excited, more excited than I was for this fight. So as April 22nd approaches, man, I can't wait for this, man. I've repeating myself, but I really can't wait. This is going to be an epic matchup. No titles on the line necessarily, but they keep talking about it. The face of boxing's on the line, and I think that's close to an accurate statement, man. Tank's already up there as one of the faces of boxing, if not the face. I think it's just going to be huge for the sport of boxing, and I can't wait. I can't wait for all of it. I can't wait for the social media posts. I know I'm re-saying what I was, or saying again what I was just talking about, but it's going to be amazing for the sport, for this fight. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm sure I'm going to have more to talk about for this fight. Heck, if I covered every social media post between now and fight week, I might have 100 videos out. You know what I'm saying? But I believe the next video podcast/episode I'll have out is the either the Tony Harrison Tim Tszyu recap or the Caleb Plant David Benavidez preview. Probably both. I think the Harrison will come first. Harrison and Tszyu will come first, and then Plant Benavidez preview will come next. But man, we are currently eating as boxing fans, and it only gets better. So with that was just my quick little recap of Tank and Ryan press conferences, and my hype, if you can't hear, is through the roof. I'm gonna be in Vegas in April for this fight. I can't wait, man. Appreciate everyone for listening to me talk about this. And yeah, man. Tszyu versus Harrison this weekend. And then we got Plant Benavidez coming. And we got Tank and Ryan 44 days away. Appreciate you listening to me. I'm out. Peace.